All right, so it is our time to do crafts, and we are going to do it in a little special way today. We're going to become scouts or spies. All right, you think that doesn't sound biblical? Just you wait. So we're going to jump into Numbers, and that is in the Old Testament, and it's got to go all the way back to the Old Testament. Early on in the Old Testament is the book of Numbers, and it's called that because it's got a lot of numbers in it, okay? Numbers, chapter 13. The Lord said to Moses, "Send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. From each of their ancestral tribes shall send a man, every one a leader among them." So Moses sent from them out from the wilderness of Paran, according to the command of the Lord, all of them leading men among the Israelites. And it's going to give you a name, a bunch of names, right, that they're going to send out as scouts and spies. And what they're going to do, it says on verse 17, Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan and said to them, "Go up there into Negeb and go into the hill country and see what the land is like, and whether the people who live in it are strong or weak, whether they are few or many, and whether the land they live in is good or bad, and whether the towns they live in are unwalled or fortified, and whether the land is rich or poor, and whether there are trees in it or not. Be bold and bring some of the fruit of the land." Now it was the season of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness. Now, it says that they brought back. They also brought, on verse 23, "And they came to the Wadi Eshcol and cut down from there a branch with a single cluster of grapes, and they carried it on a pole between two of them. They also brought some pomegranates and figs." Okay? And that's actually Eshcol from church. Her name is spelled that like that, Wadi Eshcol. The place was called the Wadi Eshcol because of the cluster that the Israelites cut down from there. So they brought fruit back, but they were sent out to spy. And it's going to tell us later that they did a really good job. So much so that on Numbers 14, it says that, verse 30, "Not one of you shall come into the land to which I swore to settle you, except Caleb and Joshua." So they were good at their job, so much so that they got to go to the promised land when other people didn't. Now, you're wondering, what kind of crafts can we do? Well, one of the fun things that you probably have in your house is toilet paper rolls. People are looking for toilet paper, but I bet you got some toilet paper rolls around. So, I want to show you today, there are lots of crafts that you can do with toilet paper rolls. And let me just give you an example of one already that I made. This is my buddy Larry the Lobster. And see, he is a toilet paper roll. And he has been turned into this very simply, just some basic paper wrapped around the toilet paper roll using some tape. And then I cut out some arms and some of those fun little lobster feet things. And he can wave hi to you when we put him on the toilet paper roll. There's all kinds of neat stuff that you can make with toilet paper rolls. But today, since we are spies and scouts. Now, what is a scout, you're wondering? Because some of you are Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, but this is a little bit different. Scouting means that they went off to look. They went to look. In our wild west of our own country, we had scouts that went out too. They went to see what the land was like, if it was worth moving there, if it was any good, if there was food. And that's why they bring those fruit back, right? To show that, hey, there's some stuff in this land that's worth enjoying. So you can be a scout and a spy in your own house. You can scout out your backyard, or if you live in an apartment, you can scout around your apartment like a scavenger hunt. But you're going to need some binoculars to do it. So we're going to make some biblical binoculars. And to do that, you're going to need 2 toilet paper rolls, okay? And some colored paper. So the first of the colored paper, we are going to take and we're going to wrap it around. Let me just put you down here for a minute. We're going to cut that toilet paper roll so that we can wrap it around. All right. We're going to tighten that real good, and then we're going to lock it with some tape. Okay. So, we got the first one. Okay, that one's my orange one. And now I'm going to get a yellow one, and we're going to do the same thing with that yellow one. Now, you can do any color that you want. And you can wrap it however you want. If you want it to be a little bit bigger, I'm going to make mine just a size, because then they'll be easier to cover with the other piece of paper. Now, if you look online, you can actually find binoculars with grapes on them, since when they scavenged around, they brought grapes back. So some people actually put grapes onto them, okay? So, sorry, you're at a weird angle, but just for a second, so I can get these going. All right, there's my second one. Okay, so now that we've got them wrapped, we've got our binoculars started. Now what are we going to have to do? Well, we want to connect our binoculars together. So you're going to get another piece of paper. And what the plan is on this piece of paper is to make it go over both of them. So what you can do ahead of time if you want to is actually just take some tape and wrap it around them. That's what I'm going to do, especially because I'm using some blue paint tape, which I thought would be good, but now it's actually coming undone easier. So I'm going to use it just to give them a little more strength onto my binoculars. Okay. And just wrap in the middle, because that tape that we're going to take around them is not going to cover their ends. We want to keep them so they look like binoculars. Okay. Alright. So I've got them ready to go. And now we're going to cut this piece of green. We're going to go the long way so that I can have it wrap around the middle and cover that middle for them. Alright, and now I'm just going to take this green piece and see it's going to wrap around them like that. And I'm going to put it in the back so you don't see it. Now if you have Scotch tape, it probably doesn't matter. Scotch tape is that clear tape. And then you wouldn't see it as much anyways. So, we cut that. Alright. Ooh, look at my binoculars. Can I see you? Can you see me? Awesome. Now you can decorate these however you want. Like I said, they could have grapes on them. You could put trees on them. You could put crosses on them. You can make them look however you want, your biblical binoculars. But you do need one other piece to them, right? To have binoculars, you want them to be able to hang off your neck. Well, you're going to need some yarn for that. Now, this is actually one I had turned into a braided rope a while ago for some other project, so I'm just using recycled yarn in a sense. But it's going to give me a big length so that I can wear them around my neck if I wanted to. And that's what you kind of want. You want to be able to do that. Now, this is where it's a little tricky, and you're probably going to need help from mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, because you're going to actually put a hole in them, okay? So we're going to poke holes into our binoculars on the sides. See? The side of it. We're going to poke a hole through it, okay? And then we'll poke a hole through this one, too. Alright. Now, we're going to take that yarn, and this is tricky, so again, but please don't use those scissors to poke holes without asking an adult to be around, okay? Because that can hurt your fingers. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to knot that off so that it doesn't come right back through, okay? So we're going to knot it off in the middle here. Tie that in a ribbon, pull it on through. There's that one side. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Okay. And again, don't make that hole without having an adult present. And then we're going to poke into the hole, and we're going to tie this off. Now, Joshua and Caleb were lucky because nobody else, even Moses, didn't get to go into the promised land. Only they did, because of all the good they did as scouts. Alright, so now my biblical binoculars are making it so that I can scout around now. So, and those, again, that was a super easy craft that comes right out of our Bible. We were talking about Caleb and Joshua in the book of Numbers when they become scouts, or spies, some call them, as they look at the land and try to decide if it's worthy of going any further, and how many troops there were, and if there's any food. So you can be a scout or a spy in your own house. Look around, see what you see. Don't bother people in the bathroom, but anywhere else. Check on them in the kitchen. Check on them and say, do you see any fruit? Because that's what they were doing. They were looking for fruit, especially some good healthy stuff to live on. And then you can look outside. If you have a backyard, definitely check for those birds. Now, these are not actual binoculars. I know. There are imagination binoculars. But something that is fun to do is see if your family does have real binoculars, and then do some bird watching. This is a great time of year. The birds are out, so use those binoculars and see what you can find. And also you can use your biblical binoculars to look around, see if you see stones or frogs or things out on the grass. And just remember, stay in your own yard unless your parents take you out of it right now just to be safe. But you can scout around in your own house, even in your own bedroom. Scout and see if you can find things that you thought were missing. And you can make these just we did this with toilet paper rolls, some construction paper or colored paper, and some yarn and tape. So really easy one and a lot of fun. All right, friends, have a great week. Know that we love you, and that wherever you are in your house right now, or if you're doing schoolwork at home, know that God loves you and we love you. And when everybody gets a little bit better, we'll get to see each other again. But we want to be safe first. So know that we care, okay? Bye.